Believe it or not, we are back. Last year, we had a season for the ages, but the real fun is ahead of us as we enter the 10th season of the Why Do Boys Play Games Fantasy League. From our humble 8-team beginnings, we've grown our understanding year over year of exactly why boys play games. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that games are best played with good friends, which is why I'm happy to welcome back to the pod, for the last time, Michael Norman Corbett, MNC. How are you feeling today?
Why do? That was a question we asked last year, and we're going to continue to figure that out. Why do? It's great to be back. It just feels like riding a bike. It feels good to be back, and it's just easy mode.
It is easy, breezy, and I actually never realized until I wrote that line, Corby, that you have the same initials as Monday Night Combat. That's very exciting. Luckily, for the two of us, we are not alone. We are joined this year by the one, the only, the content daddy of the league, Colin Swords. Colin, welcome on as a new co-host of the pod.
Hey guys, I'm here to throw off the chemistry. You know, great things come in 3. Powerpuff Girls, primary colors, other things. So I'm happy to complete the trifecta.
So in today's episode, we are going to be looking forward at the draft, but before we look forward, we got to look back. And I brought the first segment today. I'm going to bring you two through a 2021 recap of every height that we reached, every 200 burger that showed up last season. And we start with week 1. In week 1, Tyler had the true dream start for the stars and stud strategy, in which he had 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, and 2 running backs all score over 20, and 3 flex and his tight end combined for just 30 more points.
Yeah, I think you can kind of see where this team, it had a great start, but you can see the premonitions of failure here. You got Austin Hooper as tight end.
Oh,
who became,
no.
who became I feel like the pariah of the tight end category throughout the year, especially with you guys. Mecole Hardman, as Fitzy likes to say, and then Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I mean, Judy got hurt pretty quickly after this, and I mean, look at Chris's team. He had Fitzpatrick play like 1 down, I think, for the entire season, and get .27. And of course, he had Robert Tonyan again. Chris is one of those guys that drafts the same guys every year. So honestly, yeah, this is an unsurprising 200 burger.
A comment on Chris's team while we're here. As soon as Fitzpatrick got hurt, Chris stopped updating his team midway through, changed the name, never changed the picture, and stuck through the rest of the year.
It's also funny just with Chris's team, he kind of infamously kind of traded pretty much I don't think, obviously guys like Chris Carson weren't there by the end, but I know he traded DeAndre Swift probably maybe in the Heineke trade shortly after week 1 to me, but this team total change by the end of the year.
And from change by the end of the year to somebody who was somehow consistent with this bit of destiny, Taylor in week 1 put up 200 on Colin in the infamous trade of Jared Goff to get things rolling.
It wasn't his top score. It was Fitzy's darling, one of his darlings, Amari Cooper.
This is poetic justice, because not only does he put up a 200 burger, he has a 0 with Mike Gesicki in his tight end position and still puts up that much.
I had a great game, so that's tough.
Yeah, to lose the tight end position by 25.7 and to win with a 200. I think I said this one about Taylor's team as he kept Deshaun Watson all year. Pure swag strats by Taylor.
Yeah, I agree.
From there on to week 2, where again we had 2 200 burgers. The first one we're looking at is Chris Colby beating down on Adam, who did not enjoy his team last year. is what I'll say about that team name.
Yeah.
In this one, Derrick Henry got nearly 50. Kyler put up 36. And the third leading scorer on Chris's team, Rondale Moore, went for 7, 114, and a touchdown. I thought I lost the trade when I saw this week.
I thought you did too.
Just a classic story of Adam getting smashed and poor Chris, who started the week. I feel like started the year. I feel like halfway through the year he was like one of my favorite teams, but I don't think. Did he make playoffs? He did.
He did.
Oh, okay. Well, good for him.
He didn't make it too far.
I don't remember. Oh, Derrick Henry probably was the
Yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt.
That was probably the biggest reason why he was.
Gronk got
halfway
hurt.
through the year.
Yeah,
Kyler
sucked so bad second half. It's not surprising.
Chubb got traded for Cook, who got hurt.
Darren Waller.
Right. True.
That's why the name is Bad Luck Bad Boy.
Yeah, fuck you, Chris, bitch.
Dude.
Coming for you this year.
I always love the flex, the two tight end flex. You know, that is the true flex is when you put a tight end in your flex. So I respect that, Chris.
All right, next one also in week 2, in which Aaron Jones scored 3 receiving touchdowns and Tom threw for 5. Corby beating down a future rival in Eric.
Yeah. I remember this one very well. This was like Aaron Jones' best game, and it was week 2, so that's great. Jared Cook was on my team still, which is great. Who that? Oh, that's Tyson Williams. Oh my God, Tyson Williams. Holy shit. Yep, that's the team. That was my team, all right, and I deserve a victory.
Yeah, this was in the midst of Eric's probably infamous skid to start the year, where he was just getting trashed on by every team. But good for him for finishing strong, and even though he ended up losing to Taylor by like 4 points with a cursed week, I always respect teams that start weak and then light the world on fire.
Oh, absolutely. I think I was asking if it was time for him to hit the panic button.
Right.
Nope.
Exactly.
He hit the launch button, as you would say.
That's what I said.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's a good callback. It's a good
Oh, you
callback.
listened. That's nice. Moving on to week 4, skipping a week here. Mike Bekonowitz. That's right,
shit.
Mike Bekonowitz. This is the week that he changed his team name to keep disrespecting us because it was Saquon Barkley's one healthy week as he and Deebo Samuel combined for over 65 points.
That's spooky, all right.
You know, on paper, look at this. He's got Mike Evans.
Yeah.
He's got Godwin. He's got Barkley did get hurt, but Debo. Oh, Galladay. Jesus Christ. He had a week that good. Oh my God. I didn't know he did anything last.
Yes, right? Jesus.
But the quarterback thing was tough, but like I don't know. It's just another cursed team that just another cursed player who just
Dude, on paper it makes so much sense, but of course.
Moving on to the following week, week 5, a team named Devin Singletary. That's right. Fitzy won this one, 213 to 176, as Mark Andrews and Devontae Adams did what they did for the rest of the year and combined for 80.
Gross, dude. That's a slaughter right there. Even Chris even has a good week
that's
here,
what I was
too.
gonna
Like
say.
that sucks.
That's tough for Chris, who could have used a win at that point. But Fitzy's team won the championship. I think Fitzy's team as a whole kind of shows the importance of hitting on tight end in like the mid-late rounds because it's just such a huge advantage when you have those top guys like Devontae and I don't know who's this is auction, so I don't know who the other top guys were, but Fitzy just hit it when it counted. They peaked at the right time, and not to get ahead of ourselves on the rest of the season, but good for you, Fitzy.
Thank you, Colin. Next one up, the arguably second most cursed team. I think Brandy's had the worst luck, but Adam put up 200, named his team Geno's Steaks, and beat Tyler down. No player here scored over 31, but 3 of them scored over 30. That's right. Josh Allen, Dak, and Lenny all had good days. And get this, Alex Collins putting up almost 17 points. Check that out.
Not only that, Allen Robinson has his best week of the year with 9.3 points. No wonder he went off for 219 points. Adam, fuck yeah, dude.
And again, I just feel the tragedy of Tyler, who didn't start a quarterback and Jalen Rager, who put up 0.
And Austin Hooper.
And Austin Hooper. That did terrible. And he really had an amazing week. He did all of that, and he put up 174. That's incredible. So that's tragic.
That's right. Austin Hooper, I think was his second worst week because there was, this might have been his worst. The second worst was when he scored 0 receptions, 0 yards, 1 2-point conversion.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Now we get into bye weeks where nobody scored 200 in week 7, 8, or 9, but in week 10, in the midst of bye weeks, Tyler finds a way to be the next one to score 200 as he beats down on Chris Cloud. Matt Ryan put up less than a point here, but Darrell Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, and Mark Ingram all put up over 20. Just a deep week.
There's nothing better than, like we were saying before, it's just like when you get the 200, you get the 200 burger with one quarterback, you know that your team just went fucking bananas.
I like.
So satisfying.
Is that David Johnson? Is that in his RB1 or RB2 slot?
Yeah, who is that?
Is that David Johnson?
It might be David Johnson.
He had a vintage game. Look at that, 7 catches.
7 to look, they lost 7 to 45.
It was a great
Fucking
fantasy
God.
week.
No.
Ernest?
Sorry, that's Dearness Johnson because he was
Ernest?
projected for almost 16.
Yeah, you're
like
right,
he was
you're right,
projected
right.
to actually score.
And then I was like, oh,
Okay.
maybe it's Duke. But no, yes, Dearness.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
All right, that's too
The
bad.
Ernest.
Yeah, just a great week for Tyler, who was, I think at this point, kind of dominating the league. I think he was like in the top 3, but, again, foreshadowing of a tragic demise.
Yeah, of all the 200 burgers last year, this was the one with the fewest bench points. Under 20 points scored on the bench. This was really just play who you got on the team at the time because it's bye week hell. Exiting bye week hell, the next 200s both happened in the same week, in week 14. Entering the playoffs here, week before, I believe, Chris Colby putting it down on Brandy. My notes on this one started a 0 point. This is David Johnson. I looked it up. But but you look here and between James Conner and Dalvin Cook scoring over 70 here, that's going to put him over the top.
Fun beatdown.
Yeah, that's 2 from Chris, who, again, a similar look as his last time. He's got these duds like David Johnson and kind of Jerry Jeudy, but his top dudes just keep him afloat.
And this is his second time scoring 200 on Brandy.
Oh, it was also
And it is also Corby's second time scoring 200 on Adam.
Oh God! Wow, I totally.
almost lapped him.
And in this week, Corby had no player score single digits.
Wow.
And Tom Brady led the way as the only 30-point scorer with a rushing touchdown.
Oh, dude. Vintage Tom Brady.
Vintage Adam with how many guys in like single digits? Like 6?
Dude, James Robinson, 0.4.
He started Madison
Nasty.
even though Cook was healthy.
Who the fuck is Jay Jefferson? Who is that? He's got 0 points.
Jamar? I don't know. Why does he have 9? Yeah, why was he projected for 9.5? It's like, that's
Second
the running back
highest-
of the Lions
dude.
when all the guys were healthy. But I don't know his
When
first
you're
name.
second-
Or when
when
all the
you're
guys were hurt.
second
When all the guys
highest-
were hurt.
When your second highest scoring player on your team is your defense, you know you're in for a tough week.
Yep. So that's it for the regular season, but we did have 200 burgers in the playoffs.
I know it's
And the
coming.
first one, Corby, you might remember this one.
My God.
Oh my God.
I want to give you one stat. Justin Jackson had 2 touchdowns in the year 2021. Both of them were in Week 16 against Corby.
Dude, when
Joe Burrow put up 47. Devontae Adams and Mark Andrews did their 60-point thing. And I could have gone all the way up to 255 here if I had had the guts to start Devin Singletary over Donta Foreman.
So sick. Yeah, this is... To me, this feels like the best one because you scored 243, which is probably is that the highest, one of the highest scores we've ever had or something.
It's up there. I gotta double check it. I don't think it's
Totally
over
crazy.
81, but,
Oh my God,
And
legendary
I'm all about
performance.
storylines, and I love the full arc of Brandon Ayuk, who was one of your guys at the beginning of the year and just didn't perform all year. But look, here he is in the not the the game before basically the conference finals or whatever,
Yeah.
putting up almost 15. So good for him.
And then the final 200 burger of the year, the shot heard around the world. When Taylor scores 183 in the finals and it's not enough to get it done against Sir Seltz, Taylor did win the running back matchup here with Boston Scott, David Montgomery, and Josh Jacobs averaging 20 points there. But again, Joe Burrow, Devontae Adams, and RB1 Devin Singletary doing their thing. There wasn't much he could do.
Boston Scott, what a swag
I feel like
play,
Boston
dude.
Scott like
I-
carried down.
I love when fucking random dudes are in the finals. Like I had fucking Tim Hightower against Colin in our championship match. Oh, this shit is so funny.
It feels like
And especially
Taylor-
when it works out, dude. It's so good.
Feels like Taylor would start 2 or 3 of the Eagles running backs at any given time. I think he had all 3 at some point. He had or maybe he didn't have Myers, but I knew he had Gainwell and Scott, and he would just like start them both. And a lot of times it worked out, mostly because the other team would score like 90 points. But you know, Taylor put up a great fight in the fight. For all the joking about him, 183.7. That's like a championship score. It's just that Fitzy at
It's the highest scoring championship loser that we had ever had.
And that's including when the league was tiny. So like that's amazing for Taylor, and but Fitzy just would not be denied.
Fitzy, there's nothing. I don't have nothing to say about your team. Your team. It's said it ad nauseum. You know, you peaked at the perfect time, and you deserve the championship for it. So there you go.
He won the league with his best run. Look at his running backs, okay? It's Ronald Jones, Devin Singletary, and Damian Harris.
We're gonna get into that in the draft, but I'll give you a little bit of a preview.
It's an observation. But I mean,
I'll give you a little bit of a preview here, Colin. People talk about the RB dead zone. My team last year was the Undertaker. All of them were dead zone guys.
They were below the dead zone, really. All right.
Moving on to our next segment, Colin, I understand that you have something prepared for the two of us.
That's right. Last year was the debut of Colin's charts. It was a fan favorite, and I couldn't not bring it back as host. I don't know if I'm going to do it every time. It's tough, but it's tough to make charts every time. Like, what are you going to make a chart about? You know. But this time,
Right.
You know, let me show you what we're working with this time. All right. Okay. So it's no frills. It's just white background, but. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to look at every position every year. Real quick, it's like 9 slides. And just look at the trends. So here's the first. It's quarterbacks in the first year. Average is 9.32. You can see it's pretty top-heavy and tapers off pretty quickly. And it's kind of like that with most positions. But it kind of changes a bit. You see a bit of a plateau in the early beginning, starting around Russ and Breeze and Matt Ryan, if you can see the names at the bottom. The average goes up a bit. In the third year, it's not as visible, but the same kind of thing happens, and the average also goes up. So what's happening is, in the beginning, we all kind of undervalued quarterback, and I think that's correcting. And so the late end guys go kind of late for more, and then you can see the late end guys go for more, and the early round guys still go for a lot too, but everyone's kind of going for more. We're all kind of realizing quarterback is important. Now running back is interesting. Here's the first year, the average is 27. Same kind of thing, a bit of a plateau there, and then a fall off. Like Fitzy was talking about, once you hit the dead zone, nobody wants those guys. Next year, I think there was a lot less viability. But what you can't really see, it's tough to really see, especially since the scale kind of changes, the left axis, the Y there with the 90. But something I noticed is that the $1 come a lot later, even though the average is going down a bit here. But the $1 guys are coming a lot later. And what that means is that I think people are kind of saving money and trying to get deals. You can kind of, it's barely visible. I think it's more visible with wide receivers. So here's 2019 wide receivers. Same kind of thing. The first year was a kind of an outlier because Hopkins went for 70. I don't think we've ever had a receiver besides that go for like 60.
Wow,
So
that's crazy.
So the average was 19.6, then 20.7. So the average is similar, but the distribution is way different. You can see that the mid guys, they're a lot more clumped together. Maybe that's just also the axis correcting, but they're all clumped together a lot more. And then the third year, it's similar to the running backs where the $1 guys, I guess they do kind of. That's a strange year. But the point I think of all this is, or at least what I kind of drew from it, if you can't even tell from the graphs, is that I think what this league is kind of realizing is because of how deep it is, you do want to get the starts in the beginning. I do believe that. But you do need to have the left, because you don't want to be starting like McCole Hardman in your flex, and you don't want to be starting, guys like that in your flex, so you need to be kind of deep. So I think teams are kind of wising up to that and not spending as much in the early rounds. My daughter wants to say goodnight. What do you got, baby? Did you bring this to me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you going to bed?
Colin, I think that's look at the past is a great segue into a quick review of what we saw last year in the draft. So I'm going to be bringing something up on your screens in just a second that do basically a lot of what you were doing. So we have a view of all 204 players who were drafted last year. I would like you to first guess, how many players do you think went for $1 out of 204?
I'm going to say 75.
75?
That's a lot.
Or-
I was
over
gonna
or
say, I would say under.
How significantly under? Where you put it?
I would say like 55.
See, that's a great guess. However, Colin, you were almost bang on.
Wow.
74, or a full 36% of the league was drafted for $1. And I
Wow.
sorted this by actual finish. And I do want to make a note that Tyler scored a lot of points last year. Something really stood out to me here that, yeah, if you are not having about 1/3 of your team be $1 guys, you're probably at the bottom of the league. I was really
Wow.
surprised by this.
That's interesting.
Saving it for the end is maybe not the strategy. On the flip side, if we look at $50, and I'll include $40 guys, some of the top teams only had one, some of the top teams had three. So stars and scrubs may not be the only way in, but yikes. When you look at it here at the very bottom, you probably ought to pay up for at least two of these guys in the $40 to $60 range. And then finally, the thing that I found pretty interesting was the teens. The guys who you're really not thinking too hard about. What did we learn? We learned that if you draft people in the teens, you're not going to be cursed like Brandy and Adam were last year. They had the highest points against, and they were the only ones that only drafted one guy. If you're going stars and scrubs, make sure that your scrubs have a little bit in the mid-dead zone range. That's all
Damn,
I
that's
had.
interesting. That's interesting too. That's really cool.
That's really good, and that's really good. I mean, obviously, leave it to the data analyst to come with a good way to do this, because that's kind of the heart of what I was trying to make with my stuff, is trying to figure out, like, obviously, like, what strategy. I also want to know, like, what running backs go where. Like, where should I expect, like, the RB20? How much should that guy usually be?
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, that's a really useful chart.
And listen, like, I could have kept that to myself, but I want to really earn the platinum badge this year. Everyone else to rise up and raise their Yahoo rankings as well, so that my opponents have better rankings when I defeat them.
What is that?
All about the ranking.
What did you call those? What are
Yahoo
they?
points.
Oh yes, Yahoo points.
Everyone's gonna get some Yahoo points this year.
I love
We're a
the way
gold
you
league.
say
I want
Yahoo
a platinum
points.
league. We need some
Let's
Yahoo
go.
points.
I think I'm going to be dragging us down.
Yeah.
My Browns status.
No, okay, so that's maybe a great preview of some bets that we'll be making. But before we get to the long-awaited bets of the week, we have one more segment, and it's some more draft prep. It's something we did last year, and I think it really shows you what your hosts are thinking, and maybe you can compare this to your own notes, see where you agree and disagree. I want to talk about some of our favorite players in this year's draft. And we're going to start off at the really top end. I want to hear one guy, Corby, who you think should go for $50 plus, a stud who you love.
My stud that I want this year, you already know who it is. It's the guy I always talk about. He wears the purple jersey. He does the gritty. His name's Justin Jefferson. He should go for 50 plus. The dude said he's going to be the best wide receiver in the league this year, so I'm buying in. Like I said before, he does the gritty, and it's nasty. His route tree is nasty. His QB is nasty in a different way, but I still like him, and I think he's going to be great.
I can't disagree. In fact, now I got to come up with one myself, so I'm going to kick it over to Colin next. Who's your top stud?
All right. So this whole offseason, I did a lot of reflection. And I decided that I needed to put aside my biases a little bit and just look at the numbers. I need to stop just going for these same guys that I always go for. So what am I talking about? My guy's Derrick Henry. I decided this year because what does it matter? Points are points. So you know who was leading the league in points per game before he got injured halfway through the year? It was Derrick Henry, and it wasn't close. He was like 25 and a half points per game in PPR. He was insane. Yes, he was getting like 30 carries a game, so it was kind of inevitable that he would be injured. But I don't care. Points are points. I do my own. I did this year. I was like, I'm gonna do all my own projections for like most of the top guys. The like you said, like the top 200 guys are drafted. I probably did about a little more than that. Nothing too, just like estimations. Derrick Henry was number 2 in my projections. So am I gonna draft him like I think he's gonna be number 2? Maybe. I'm not like Fitzy said. I don't want to like hold anything back. When auction day comes, I will be bidding for Derrick Henry. If it goes too high, I'm not gonna. Probably not going to go 70 for him, like Fitzy said, or like we were talking about earlier. I want, some cash for flex guys. But I love Derrick Henry this year. I said it. I don't care if he gets 20 catches. I care if he gets 400 carries. Derrick Henry.
Incredible, Colin. You're a changed man. Can I guess who your number 1 was, though? A certain pass catching running back.
Okay, my number 1 was McCaffrey. My number 3 was Swift. So that should tell you.
Oh, shocking.
Tell you
Literally the most shocking projections
the
ever.
Pass-catching running back on the Lions? My goodness.
Yeah. So that should tell you everything.
So, I'm going to lay my cards on the table, and I'm going to tell you a guy who I think should go for $50. He might be right at that bubble, but darn it, I'm spending $50 on him, and that's Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is just going to get the volume. For years and years, he was the guy who would burn people because he would get hurt. He stayed healthy for a whole year and they made it to the Super Bowl, and dang it, I think they're going to do it again. So Joe Mixon's the guy who I want. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. They've got an improved offensive line. That's the guy who I want on my team.
Yeah, I like Joe Mixon. Like, he's in this tier of good running backs on great offenses, and those guys, and he's the bell cow. He's in that tier with guys, like Fournette and like Akers if I guess he stays healthy. I guess we don't know what's going on. I don't know, but I guess Akers isn't really in that tier. But if you're good or great, and Joe Mixon, he's been pretty solid, if a little boring. But so is Lenny. These guys they're not Javonte Williams. They're not sexy dudes to get people hyped. So I like Joe Mixon he's good. It's a good anchor.
After the top tier, we're going to skip a couple of dollars. We're going to talk about some of those, maybe not quite dead zone, but the $15 to $30 range. The guy who, when you draft him, some of the people in the league are going to say, well, that was too much money. But you're really happy with that $15 to $30 guy, mid-rounds. And I'm going to kick it to you, Colin. Who do you like the most?
Again, I have to go to my projections. And this might be presumptuous, that he's going to go for below this, but I don't think he goes for above 30, or he might. But it's Kyler, who I guess is kind of one of the top guys, but he's usually not drafted for that much. Like I said, I did all my own projections this year, and where do you guys think Kyler went in my projections?
In terms of like QB?
Yeah.
Either 2 or 3.
I'm going to say 4.
He was number 1. He
Wow.
was basically neck and neck with Josh Allen. And I'm just looking at like averages. I'm looking at averages, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at like their past, and I'm thinking I'm maybe upping it a little with off-season stuff. But like Corby said, he falls off a lot in the second half of the year. He was hurt a bit. I think maybe everyone says there's the Call of Duty cliff when a new one comes out. Stats go down by like 20 points. And I liked Kyler this year because I feel like his value is kind of hurt a little. Yeah, because Hopkins is injured. They got Hollywood. I don't really care about that. It's not like Hopkins was lighting the world on fire last year. But because everyone is kind of down on him because of this whole contract thing about but you got to study like 2 hours a day or whatever. And everyone's like, this is, he's a bum. He's short. I don't care. You know what I care about?
Fucking short.
I put my biases aside. You know what I care about is points. And he scores a ton of points. So I want him to have a huge chip on his shoulder and come out slinging, averaging 30 a game. He's got weapons. He runs. He's on a good offense. They run like 80 plays a game or whatever. So there's no reason he can't be number 1.
Yeah, I like it.
I know you're a big Kyler fan.
Yeah, of course, and I think you're also correct that he's right in that $15 to $30 range. Even if he should, according to you, go for over 30, I think I got him penciled in right there in the 20 somethings. Another guy who kind of flipping the script, maybe on the lower end of this, but I would be surprised if he went for less than 15. Eli Mitchell. Now, let me explain why I think this. He's on a run-first team, prioritizing the one running back approach, and guess who just got released? That's right. Trey Sermon's no longer biting at his heels. Eli Mitchell is going to score all the fantasy points this year. You heard it here first.
I hate that pick, Fitzy. I think that guy sucks. So I'm going to give you a guy that doesn't suck and who I'm really interested to see this year. His name is Kyle Pitts. Super excited about a new budding tight end because to me tight end is the most fun. It's so fun to have a good tight end in fantasy because you can just replace any wide receiver. You can't really replace a tight end with like I don't know who, like Austin Hooper. Like again, we're just bringing that fucking guy. But I'm excited to see what he can do, even though I know that he has question marks at quarterback with Mariota and whatnot. But yeah, it should be fun. It reminds me of when Kelsey was starting to bud as a young lad. Now he's fucking 33 years old.
Yeah, I do like Pitts a lot this year. It is kind of tough for me to, because he's one of those hype guys, so you know he's going to go for. He certainly probably won't go for 30, but he's just one of this guy who kind of gets pushed up by that. But I do like him a lot. Yeah, Mariota has looked okay, everyone's saying, so he's a sexy pick. And also, I didn't really get to talk about Eli Mitchell, who I do like Fitzy. I think I have him like 21, but the thing about those rankings is they're not affected by injury. They're not affected by injury. So, like when people say, "Oh, Damian Harris or like Zeke Elliott were both RB1s last year," they don't talk about how like probably 10 dudes who would have been ahead of them got hurt. So,
yep,
it's easy for him to be an RB1 next year. I like Eli Mitchell a lot. He's a running back in Kyle Shanahan's defense or offense period.
It's funny because in the drafts I've done so far, I have not drafted Eli Mitchell, and I
Me
have
neither.
drafted both of your guys. So it's just how it goes. And our last segment for this bit is one guy who you like at the back end. Maybe not $1, but for under $5, the guy who you're hoping you can sneak in and get for $1 or $2 when someone else nominates him. And I'm going to start it right off. I acted all sad about it when I picked him up in the $100 league a couple days ago. But it's my guy. Start him in the flex, Burkhead.
Oh,
This guy.
What? What?
Flex Burkhead.
Flex Burkhead, man. People call him the glass cannon. That's what Taylor's team was last year. He was a glass cannon. But that took him all the way to the championship. And I think Rex Burkhead is going to be this year's J.D. McKissick. Yeah.
Take that
going
back.
to say this one with a straight
Take
face.
that back.
Well, J.D. McKissick can also be this year's J.D. McKissick. I think there's an expanding role for pass-catching specialists in the league. I don't think Dameon Pierce is going to be that guy. And what's the head coach's name in Texas again?
Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith, old school guy. He's not going to not play Rex Burkhead. You know it.
All right, Sean. I don't agree with this one at all. But your logic is what it is. My guy, this is the sexiest pick. This is the up and coming wide receiver. You might know his name. His name is Wan'Dale Robinson. The path to opportunity is so easy. He's got to wait 1 week for Sterling Shepard to get hurt. He's got to wait 1 week for Kadarius Toney to get hurt. He doesn't need to wait for Kenny Galladay because that guy fucking sucks. So the opportunity is there, and he just needs to seize it. So Wan'Dale, coming for you.
Now, Corby, I'm really happy for you. I promise I'm not going to nominate him. I want you to get him for $1. That's my gift to you is not nominating Wan'Dale Robinson. But I just see shades of Rondale Moore. I feel like you're in love with him, Wan'Dale, the way that I was in love with Rondale. Both 5'8", both shifty little guys. They're both going to get some, little screens underneath. But trust me, from a guy who drafted Rondale Moore in every league last year, you're not going to like it. You're going to want to trade him away for a guy like Devin Singletary.
Okay.
Do we know if Sterling Shepard is even playing week 1?
I don't know.
I
think
really
he
don't
just
think he
started
is. He's
practicing
one of those
again.
like torn Achilles dude, and I really don't think he's coming back week 1. But I love Sterling Shepard, and I was gonna nominate him in the Discord league, and I was like, I don't want to nominate. I was gonna nominate him early when the guys were all going expensive, like 99s for like $9. But I was like, why would I do that to Corby? Like no, I'll just let him take him later. But yeah, I really like Wandale too. The thing about Wandale is Daniel Jones is going to be his quarterback. Daniel Jones sucks, and sucky quarterbacks a lot of times focus on the slot, which is where he's never really supported an outside guy. Tony was good for a while last year, but Shepard has always been his go-to. And even but that is also the kind of the downfall is like he did get hurt last year and was doing good, but even then, like Shepard's never had like more than I think like has he had like I don't think he's ever had more than like 60 something catches in a season.
Yeah. He's never made it through a season.
Yeah, they're gonna need a new. I like Daniel Jones, honestly. But I don't know. I like Daniel Jones. I think the Giants have kind of pissed on him. But my $1 dude is. I'm glad you guys picked like really back end $1 dudes because my guy's Evan Ingram, who I've talked about a little bit. Listen, this is piggybacking off of the Daniel Jones thing because who has Daniel Jones ever supported as a pass catcher? When his rookie season was that Eli or was that Daniel Jones? Even Saquon's rookie year was Eli Manning checking down like 90 times.
Oh, I guess you're right.
And Evan Ingram, I don't know when his rookie year was. I don't know if it was Daniel Jones. It might have been, but again,
it wasn't.
Yeah, so there you go. Daniel Jones has like never really supported a good. So I believe in Trevor Lawrence, who had a great rapport with Dan Arnold last year, who is still on the team. So I don't know if he'll have a role, but they gave Evan Ingram the money. I'm going to follow the money. Evan Ingram. I think I'm going to wait on tight ends this year, even though I believe what you said is true about having that guy. Is so, especially in a 12 team.
I was really excited for this because I knew we'd have firm agreement at the top. Yes, that's a good player. We'd be kind of meh in the middle, like, I don't know if I want to reach for that guy. And we all hate each other's $1 picks. That's what I want to hear.
I like Wandale. I don't like Rex Burkhead. That's terrible. What do you think of Ben Ingram? You're not on board?
Rex Burkhead will probably go undrafted when Mighty Boys play games.
No, he will.
No
I promise you
question
he
about
will.
No doubt about it.
Might nominate him after listening to this as a joke and then be stuck with him. But
be stuck. Yep. Moving on to our next segment. This is one we're going to call Over and Under. Now, this is not Bets of the Week. This is Lock of the Year. Flashing up on your screens now for the viewers is the history for the entirety of the 12-team era in our league of how many wins every manager has averaged. You see, I'm going to read from bottom up. Mike Bacano at 5.3, Chris Cloud at 5.6, just skipping the numbers now. Adam, Taylor, Brandy, Chris, Colby, Fitzy, Chris P, Corby, Tyler, and tied at the top at 8 wins a year, Colin and Eric.
Just like in high school, the old rivalry, it stays strong. There's just we're kind of like Magic and Bird. We have an inextricable link. Our dynasties are linked forever. I think you can't talk about either of our teams without talking about the other. So just no surprise there. We'll probably meet up in the championship this year in the season to decide the fate of the league.
So the reason I call this segment Over and Under, I want each of you to choose your favorite total win under and total win over. And Corby, I'm going to kick it to you first.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under on Colin. I think Colin's on the downfall. He's changing lanes. He's going for Derrick Henry. It's just not the Colin that I used to know. So I'm out on Colin this year. Give me the under on wins there.
Wow. All right. Well, let's keep it with the unders. And Colin, I'm curious to see who you've got.
I'll take the under on Chris P. He had a couple years there, even a few, where he seemed like the supreme. Ever since the crackdown on his statistics sweatshop with Malik.
Yeah.
Ever since he lost Malik, things have been it's been a tough sledding. So I feel like 7.3 is pretty generous. I'll take the or I guess what would that be 7 point? So yeah, I'll take below. Well, it'd be below 7, yeah.
Hey, it's a good pick. It's a smart bet, and I'm gonna go really kind of scuttling through the trash on this one. Looking at the bottom of the list, not the very bottom, but Chris Cloud had something like 8 total transactions last season. And I'm going to take the under on 6. He's got to have 5 wins or less for me to win this one. I'm a little bit scared. I almost went with Adam, who surprisingly has the same total, but I got to take the under on Chris Cloud. Now, I'm going to keep it here myself because I feel like this is going to be a popular pick, and it's okay if we want to pick the same one. Nearly retired Mike Bekonowitz, this is finally, for real this time, your year. I'm laying it all on the line. Mike, I'm not going to be the heel for you this season, I promise.
But I will be, bitch. I'm taking the over on losses, motherfucker. You're staying at the bottom. I took the over. Did I take the over on? I'm sorry.
Do whatever you want.
I want
no,
to
it's okay.
do whatever you
Corby,
want.
You can take the
No.
over on losses.
Yeah, I'm taking the over on losses. Fuck this, Mike. You're really gonna retire this year. I'm coming for you too. I got my eyes on 2 scrubs in this league.
Well,
it's Chris
making
Colby
these
and
proclamations
and
before we even know what the teams look like. I'm not gonna.
Let's
we'll have
go.
to see, but just based on I'm gonna take the over for the guy who came in second last year and seemed to quit every other league he's in just so he can focus on this one. As the Big Daddy league, it's Taylor. Taylor is getting my over 5 point. So I think he'll get over 6. I think he can get 7 wins. It's about what he got last year, huh? Is that got into playoffs 7 and 9 or whatever?
I think he got 8.
Yeah, there you go. So I believe in Taylor. I think he puts it together. He drafts some quarterbacks, or either he'll draft a quarterback and then I can trade him one after the draft, and then he'll be set just like last year. So Taylor, I believe in you.
exactly.
We were laughing at him, but now I'm laughing with him.
now we're laughing at you.
Oh man, so that was fun. That got my juices flowing, and I feel like it's now time to get into the segment that I've been looking forward to. The segment where we get to make our year-long proclamations. That's right, it's Bets of the Week.
Bam, bam, bam.
And
Time for me to hit my bong.
Corby, I gotta tell you, while you hit that, I'll give my preamble. I've got 3 picks here. Colin, how many bets are you bringing in?
As a amateur betty, I have 2.
2, all right. And Corby, I'm curious, how many did you bring?
I have 4. Let me lead it off because I have 4. One of the first one here is kind of a twofer. So the category is most rushing yards on the season.
Ooh, I like it.
This is open for both of you for both of these options. First option here, Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. I would take Trey Lance here.
I would also take Trey Lance here.
Okay.
Justin Fields. I'll take Trey Lance. Yeah.
Okay. I thought we would all be on the same side here, so that's why I have a backup. Mac Jones versus Davis Mills.
For what? Rushing yards?
Yeah, rushing yards.
Oh, hold on, Corby. I want to know, who are you taking?
I will take Davis Mills here, but I would also be not opposed to taking Mac Jones.
Completely blindly, I want to root for Davis Mills. Right. I don't know who's actually going to have more yards, so that's the side I'd want. I want him to do well. He beats it out by 1 neck length.
I'll take I'll take Mac Attack then against you.
You'll take Mac Attack?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, my projections tell me that Davis Mills will average 4 more yards per game than Mac Jones, so I'm gonna have to go with Davis Mills.
Corby, will you accept a double down?
Yeah, I'll take a double down.
Lock it in. So since I've got 3, I will go next. And I'm going to send this one only here for you, Corby. Second year in a row where I'm ready to lay it down and make this bet. If you remember last year, episode 1, I came forward with something called the adjusted ranking, which basically takes the loser's bracket out of it. And again, I believe that Brandy is going to finish over you in adjusted rank at the end of the year.
This is a spoiler. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna win. I take myself again.
I can't wait. Lock it in.
So this one is a bit of a callback to an earlier segment. It's about a certain player who I think will be under $5, who I think is really good this year. His name is Evan Ingram. He's the tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You might have heard of him. They call him soft hands. They call him Softy around camp because everything he catch falls right into his breadbasket. Over under Evan Ingram catches. Okay. We're gonna set the over under at 60.
Under.
You guys are
Under.
absolute fools. How about this? How about instead of 60
Yeah,
catches?
yeah.
How about over under, or who gets more catches, Evan Ingram or Najee Harris? And I will take Evan
Are you-
Ingram.
Are you serious?
Okay. Yeah, I'll take.
Yeah,
that.
I
Well,
would
I already have a
still
bet
take
with Corby.
Najee
What is
too,
it? I think
so.
like 55 catches.
It's like 55 over under. I took the over.
So it makes
Yeah.
sense. They're right around the same number. Evan Ingram over Najee.
What do your projections say? How many catches is Evan Ingram going to
Let
get?
me check real quick. Evan Ingram is projected for 68. Or what's 4 times 17?
68 catches.
He had like
There's
64
no
his rookie
fucking
year.
way. Okay, how many years ago was
Yeah,
that? Like 5?
It was 5 Daniel Jones years ago.
How many drops though? How many drops later?
That's not a part of the bet.
Just saying,
Colin,
guy
I
can't
feel
catch
like-
balls.
I feel like you're like me in this. You like him because he's a good Madden player, right? Like
He
he's
is
a
really
fast
good,
tight end,
man.
isn't he?
But that's not it.
Yeah.
That's not
Okay.
it.
Yeah. I know where this came from.
Okay, so my next one is more catches on the season. KJ Hamler versus KJ Osborne. We've got KJ versus KJ here.
It's just like total points. Oh,
Just
you
catches.
said.
Just catches.
I will take Osborne
I-
receptions.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I would also. Okay, how about yards?
I would take Hamler. I'll take Hamler for yards.
Really? Oh fuck. I want to do a KJ
Please.
versus KJ, and I don't know. I would.
What about just total points?
Total fantasy points.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll take Hamler.
I'll take Osborne.
I would take Hamler as well.
Fitzy, are you in for a
I'm
double
in.
penetration bet?
Oh man, I can't
This
believe
could-
I'm gonna DP with KJ.
Oh god.
My next bet, again, is a targeted one, Colin. This one is just for you. And because of Colin's charts, I know this. You believe in statistics. Am I correct in this, Colin?
This year, I absolutely do.
This year. Good.
I put aside the biases, like I said, and I'm just looking at numbers.
Good. And you would say that past performance can be indicative of future success, right? So I've got a stat for you. You and I have faced each other 14 times in the Why Do Boys Play Games history. And I have an all-time record against you of 2-12. My bet is quite simple. I will beat you one time this year.
No, you won't.
All right, lock it in.
Well, hopefully, I only play you once.
You
to
play me
decrease
twice.
the samples. Oh,
Three-
you already know?
Oh,
All right, I'm
guaranteed.
going 2-0.
Yeah.
I'm
3
going
and 13.
2-0.
Here I come.
No. Oh, you think we'll split it?
Oh,
That's good.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that for sure. You know, I'm always going to have confidence in my teams. And you know who else I'm going to have confidence in? There's a running back named J.D. McKissick. Because my bet is that J.D. McKissick will finish as the RB1 in Washington in our league.
That's a hot take, and I will take the over on RB1.5.
You'll take the field?
Yeah.
I think he will too. I think I'm out on this one.
That one, I like. You say it and it's like, but then like like maybe Robinson comes back and messes up like Gibson numbers. It might even not be that he has a good year. It's just like but he got hurt last year, so he might get hurt.
So my final bet here that I have is kind of a open bet for the draft. I'm saying the most someone will pay for a defense is blank.
I think someone will go for 2.
I don't think so.
You
I've
think
got
it'll
faith,
be
I've
one?
got faith in our league mates. I think we're going to keep it at $1.
Here's what I think might happen. Is
I'm-
at the end of the draft,
I'm
no,
leaning
someone
towards
would-
3.
I'm taking 2, and I can explain it to Colin. You go first, but I've got a theory.
So at the end of the draft, it might be the last position someone takes, and that's all they might have a couple bucks left over, so they're just going to be like, oh fuck it, here's much money.
That's true. That's true. My theory is that there's going to be many of us in the same room, and I assume somebody's going to have a couple of drinks, and
That's a good one, too.
someone's going to see like they're going to put up San Francisco, like
Right.
the team that they were like, I know they're facing someone good week 1. Someone else is going to put $2 on them, and Corby, you're absolutely right. The person who nominated him for $1 is going to stare at the other person, stare at them,
and then hit the button.
3 is good.
Three is absolutely what it's going to be. You're completely right.
I would say $3 too. So I don't know how do we make that a bet? Aren't we all supposed to take different numbers? Like we did with Chris Colby, that fucking scumbag. I'm just kidding, Chris. I'm still coming for you.
I think this is a non-bet for me. I think we all agree on $3.
Yeah.
My next bet is a bit of a callback, you might say, and it basically comes down to what I believe is going to happen this year compared to last year. Brian Edwards. Last year scored 109
Under.
fantasy points, and I really firmly, strongly believe that he was going to double that, at least double that. Now, he finds himself in a different situation. He goes from Las Vegas, where he was the second wide receiver on a team with a very good tight end, and he goes to Atlanta, where he is the second wide receiver on a team with a really good tight end. My bet's quite simple. I think that he scores more points this year than he did last year.
He will not.
Over on 109.
Under.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
All right, load it up.
Oh my god.
I can't believe I'm running it back with Bry Guy.
I do have one more.
Oh.
Again, this is a callback. As a faithful listener, this was my favorite bet every week. And this is the overtime. Now, you guys can keep doing that during the week, but I want to talk about over-under on total overtime games for this season.
Oh, shit.
Now, for context, last year there were 23 in the regular season that went into overtime. So I'm going to say, I feel like that was low. So I'm going to say the over-under is 25.5. And I'm going to take the over.
I'll take the under.
I would also take the under.
Right. It's the newbie against the seasoned veterans in a battle of overtime.
The battle.
Finally, I get to be a part of it.
The battle of wits. I bet there will be an overtime game. Week 1. Who wants it?
Is that a real
Yeah.
bet? Sweet cat.
Will there be an
You
overtime?
bet there will be?
Will there be? Yeah, I think there will be an overtime.
I'll say no.
I don't think there will either. I feel like week 1, there's going to be a lot of shitty teams. They're going to be all not close.
Okay.
We're into my favorite part of Bet to the Week, when we're making stuff up on the fly. And I'm going to throw this feeler out there. In the draft this coming week, Taylor, a changed man, is going to get 3 quarterbacks, but I don't think he's going to pay up. I want to take the under on $42.5 total dollars spent from his budget on quarterbacks.
I'll take the over. I think he's ready to spend up.
Lock it in.
I'll also take the over, I've decided. I've been ruminating on it.
For the past 5 seconds?
For the past few seconds. since Corey. And I feel like my initial response was the under, but now that I think about it, yeah, I think the continuing rise of the quarterback costs and Taylor's overcompensation, he will go all out. He's gonna get Herbert and Trevor Lawrence or something. Ooh, okay, I want to do one.
Okay.
My last on the fly one. Most expensive player in the draft. Not who it is. I'm saying how much they're going to go for. I would take the 68.5.
Over.
And I'll take... Oh, yeah?
Over? 68.5? Really?
Well, that would be the cheapest, most expensive player ever. I don't know if I have it
really?
anymore, but...
Someone's going to spend exactly $71 on CMC. That's my belief.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
I've got that in my head because of Corby's team name, $71 keeper. I think that somebody's going to spend $71. Like we're going to hit sevens.
I don't know.
So CMC has never not been the most expensive player in our league.
Oh yeah, like he's going to be the most expensive.
He's going
again.
for 74, 84, and 73.
84?
So that's been the most. He went 84.
Holy shit, dude!
I don't know who that was.
That's
Maybe me.
Crazy. It was definitely you.
No, I don't think I would draft him like 4 years in a row because I'm pretty sure I had him like the 2 years before that. I would take the under. What did I say? 68.5?
Yep.
Yeah, I would take the under. Corby, you said you'd take the under as well? Or what do you think?
I don't know. You guys talking has got me thinking about CMC now. Maybe I'm back.
So that is going to do it for Season 2, Episode 1 of the Why Do Boys Make Podcasts podcast, the sister podcast for the Why Do Boys Play Games League. My name is Fitzy, and I will be returning to you not exactly every week, pretty much whenever we feel like it. Isn't that right, boys?
Yes.
I feel like it every week. I'll wait for you guys.
Thank you, Colin. Corby is going to get married and go on a lovely honeymoon, so we will be back when we can get the three of us together.
Ciao.
And when we return, we'll be looking at that like count and our subscriber count. And I got to tell you, folks, we're trying to secure a sponsorship deal. If we get 10 likes on this episode, I'm told that the AdSense is going to kick in for us. So I really want to see a double-digit like number and at least 2 new subscribers. And until then, my name's Fitzy.
My name is Corby.
And this is Colin. Gamers! Game on!
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away haven't changed, had much to say. But man, I still think them cats are crazy. They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. I told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town. I say the boys are back in town.